It took a few years to realize we needed to find the people that really fit with the culture. Hardworking, salt of the earth, the backbone of the U.S. economy. Commercial buyers are different than consumers. The people that go buy cars have different reasons why they're buying vehicles.
Today on the show, I'm happy to have Kathryn Schifferle. She's the founder of Work Truck Solutions. They're helping dealers sell more work trucks. So, Kathryn, how much capital did you raise for this venture?
Been very fortunate to have a couple of different rounds, seed, an A and a B, and we've raised a total of about 12.3 million.
And how many employees do you now have in the business?
We're just reaching 100.
Wow. And then what year did you actually found it?
Started working on it early, but our first real activity was in 2012, and we had our first dealer go live in December of that year.
And then the company itself, I know culture is a very key part to your success and it's big within businesses. What's your take on building a company culture? What happens when it goes wrong? Just a little bit of everything.
It's one of my favorite topics. And I'm what's called a serial entrepreneur. So I've had multiple companies, and I'd actually not planned to start another company. I was teaching marketing at Chico State, and I found this serious problem where the product that is sold, the VIN was being applied to the vehicle, but then nobody kept track of what it became. And it's $70 billion industry, not knowing what the product is. So that triggered my desire to start another company. But this time I said the number one most important thing to me was to build a culture based upon all the mistakes that I made in the past, and to make sure that why not have a place where people want to come and work and enjoy their time together. And it was interesting timing because it was right around when Google had launched, right? And there was so much around how different their culture was, and Whole Foods. And I really took a step back and said, what's important? And to me, initially, what was really important was transparency, collaboration, appreciation, and a very flat environment. Because to me, I thought a good idea can come from anywhere. So avoiding siloing. And I would say the first 5 years, it was really a lot of kind of constant checking and nurturing and finding out that there were people that I hope I'm okay saying this. One of my rules was no assholes. And it took a few years to realize that it's not just that. It's not just that we don't want them, but we also needed to find the people that really fit with the culture, that were, because we had hardworking and all of the things that were important to us. It was important that everybody were on the same page. And about 5 years in, I realized that the company was now building and guarding our culture. And that the next phase of that, I would say, was as a software company, I realized that one of the things that we do is that we do what are called sprints, where every 2 weeks we would start a new session, we would QA it, and then we would put it out. We were revising and innovating pretty quickly. And what that started creating in our culture was a culture of iteration. And it's now part of our DNA. And iteration is really, number one, loving to learn. And number two, being open to, if you've learned something that will help you to become better, you're willing to do that. And not everybody is comfortable with that kind of culture and environment. There's a lot of people that would rather wake up every day and just and they're comfortable not having change. But it's been very good for us because as the market has changed more and more rapidly, especially in the automotive industry that was pretty far behind in technology, it's been catching up. And in the commercial space, it's even further behind. For us, it's been part of how we serve our customers. So that's the last part of the culture, is that we are really a company that really focuses on helping. That's the North Star for us. And I meet with everybody when they join our company, and I talk with them a little bit about this so that they know how important that responsibility on their side is, and what a kind of an honor it is for them to be selected. And we've had a number of people who they found something that they wanted to go try, and we were happy for them. And then they've ended up coming back because it's just such a great place. And somebody the other day said they were new and they said, I was in a meeting, my first meeting, and they started saying things. And I was like, uh-oh, what's going to happen now? And then all of a sudden they worked it all out. And I'm like, yeah, it's a safe place. Everybody can talk, right? Anyway, I love it.
What made you decide that commercial vehicles was the space you wanted to innovate in?
That's funny because it's thematic on the same idea of culture. I spent almost 20 years in the cable television industry with my previous software company, and the culture there was horrible. Like for a nickel, they'd stab you in the back as a vendor. And I left, I started teaching. And when a friend asked me to help them publish a magazine, actually in the commercial space. And when I met everybody in the space, I went, oh my God, I love all these people. Hardworking, salt of the earth, the backbone of the US economy. And they would tell me anything. And it was such a great place. That's actually what kind of caring about them when I found the problem of nobody knowing what the vehicles actually are. That was what triggered my kind of couple year exploration of did I really want to start another company? And then ultimately, because nobody was fixing it and because I cared so much about the people in that space, yeah, that's culture again, right?
After starting multiple companies, would you say it gets easier each time?
If it doesn't, you should just go shoot yourself right. I knew I knew how hard it would be. So there was a in my past younger days, it was less about recognizing how hard it would be and just wanting to do it. This time it was deciding to do it and measuring and thinking about it. And to some degree, also redeeming myself. I made mistakes. In culture, I had times when there was a toxic environment or the wrong people or whatever. And for me, it was like an opportunity to learn and do it right.
Are there any particular tools you use to guide the culture of the current organization?
We're lucky. In the old days, I was a soft we were I had a software company and it was different. Now, because we had to send disks, we had hardware. The cloud has really made my vision of what life can be achievable. And what I mean by that is everybody should be able to live where they want to live. In a software company, I get the manufacturing, and there's other companies where what they do requires that you physically be somewhere, right? But in our company, when we went home all in 2020, we started really working on how to be virtual and still enjoy being with each other. And yes, we use Slack. We're a Google shop. So we use Google Docs and Google Slides and Google all of that to communicate and to be better. Our sales team now has some very interesting tools. They have one called Outreach that allows them to be coached and supported. We became a Salesforce company a number of years ago. So everything that we do that we look at as far as technology is all based around how do we get better at what we do and hold hands better and be measured, because that's the other thing. We're a company that knows that to be successful, you need to have a metric by which you're comparing what you're doing and the results to what your goal is.
Who's the right person to reach out to you for help?
I like mentoring. If there is someone out there that would like to talk about culture or whatever, I'm very open to that. I'm actually thinking about, obviously, I've had some years in education and teaching college level about the idea of cooking some of what I've learned around developing a culture to me, it'd be almost like an experiment, right? If you have questions and you want to explain problems that you've had or talk about how to improve, I'd be up for it. We get enough people, maybe we'll have a little group.
And what about with Work Truck Solutions? Who's the right client who should reach out for help?
Oh, that I was still on the
I like both.
So we actually think of the commercial vehicle space as a complete ecosystem. Obviously, the end consumer is the most important. Those contractors or caterers, all the people that are out there using vehicles in their business, and those vehicles need to be fit for their use case. We have a website called Comvoy, COMVOY.com, which is targeted to helping. It's got over 215,000 vehicles listed on it today, but it's also got lots of information about becoming better at understanding what your options are or learning more about advanced fuel vehicles. All those things that who has time to do and how could you find it anyway? Then we serve the dealerships and help them have on their website information for their customers and help them understand what are all the different products out there. And then as you go up the supply chain, the upfitters, that's the term for putting these special configurations together. They are distributors and manufacturers, and we help them show all the stuff that they've built across the whole US onto their website. And then we roll up to the OEM like GM, their Chevrolet.com, GMC.com, and GM Involved sites. We power that so that customers who are brand loyal to them can find what they're looking for. We also talk to partners, people that are in the insurance and warranty and data space and others around how they can serve commercial buyers. Commercial buyers are different than consumers. The people that go buy cars have different reasons why they're buying vehicles. And we get that on the retail side of the dealership, that's all very formulated, but these are businesses and you need to deliver value to them. I would be open to any questions, honestly, because we're trying to build a better world for this space.
Maybe if any of the dealers or manufacturers in our audience wanted to reach out to Workforce for help, how could they do so?
Work Truck Solutions has a email that is info@worktrucksolutions.com that will get any question that you have to all of the correct right people. And then, of course, I'm happy if someone wants to reach out to me. Are you going to show my first and last name on the?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just my first period last and work at worktrucksolutions.com. Please reach out to me.
Everybody make sure to check out Work Truck Solutions as well as Convoy. Thank you, Kathryn, for coming on the show, and everybody for listening to another episode of Failing to Success. If you like the show, make sure to subscribe. I'm your host, Chad Kalecki, and we'll see you next time.